Hi, thank you for joining me today. My name is Laura Ward, and I'm a bereavement counselor at HospiceCare. And I'm here to introduce a series that we're doing on Facebook Live for the weeks to come called Grief and Wellness in Uncertain Times. This offering came out of our desire to connect with our community during this challenging time and provide some resources that might help people in coping and might help people who are grieving many of the losses that we're experiencing. Our interdisciplinary staff is going to have different offerings through the week. The plan is to do this on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. And if you want to know what's coming up and see if there's anything you're interested in, you can check our Facebook page and we'll have listed the upcoming events. If there's something in particular that you would like to see us cover that we don't have listed, please feel free to reach out either through comments or messenger and let us know what you're interested in so we can try to bring you information on those topics. So today I'm here to talk to you about grief. And grief is defined as a natural and normal response to loss. And typically with HospiceCare, we're dealing with the loss through the death of a loved one. But in this current situation, we'd like to expand our discussion about loss and grief to cover some of the losses that many of us are experiencing right now in this community. It might be a huge loss, such as the loss of your job or financial means. Certainly, it's a loss of physical contact with friends and family. And then there's also the smaller losses that we are dealing with, such as the loss of our routine, the things that we've come to take for granted in life. Just being able to get up in the morning, maybe you stop for coffee at the coffee shop, maybe you meet a friend for coffee, arriving at work to see the faces of your coworkers, to check in, say hi, how's your day, how are you doing today? Those simple things that we just assume are part of life are gone right now. We are experiencing a whole different reality. And all of us are impacted in different ways because we have different routines, but we can't go to the gym anymore or go see a movie or go see a play. Those very simple things that we might, do on a daily basis, group exercise classes, all those things have changed, those extracurricular activities and social activities that we enjoy so much. There's also loss of and disappointment around the many things that we're not going to be able to do in the near future. Perhaps we've had to give up travel plans, family reunions, weddings, the sporting events we love to go to, or even having our kids participating in sporting events or recitals. The loss is huge. There's so many losses. And I think also it's important to realize that we're adjusting every day to new losses because we're constantly hearing new regulations and recommendations about social distancing and what that means. It's unbelievable how much has changed in our lives in the last week. So that creates a certain level of unpredictability. And unpredictability and uncertainty is tough for us, for everybody. Creates a lot of anxiety. I don't know about you, but just seeing the numbers of illness and that are happening in the community go up creates its own level of anxiety. And when people are grieving, which in many ways we all are grieving, what we're grieving might be different, but that grief is going to have an impact on us physically, emotionally, cognitively, behaviorally, socially. So grief is something that impacts people on many different levels. And although we all have our own individual response to grief, there are some common things that you might see with grief. Some of those are in terms of physical symptoms. You may find that you're seeing changes in your appetite, changes in your sleep patterns, irritability, restlessness, body aches, fatigue. You might feel just off in general. In terms of cognitive, you are going to find perhaps that you are more forgetful about things. One thing that happens with our routine is that it helps us to remember the things that we need to do. And so when our routine is off, we're more likely to be forgetful. And we might find ourselves, of course, during this time preoccupied with worries and preoccupied with thoughts of anxiety and fear for the things that are happening around us. I don't know about you, but there's certainly been a sense of unreality. Just this is like such a surreal situation that sometimes it doesn't really feel real. And certainly there's been moments of kind of denial, like, oh, let's hope that this is going to be over in a few weeks. The truth is, we don't know how long this is going to last. Impacts on our behavior. Certainly, people are more irritable and impatient when they're grieving. There's ways of coping that we sometimes do that aren't so healthy. Perhaps overuse of drugs or alcohol, using food as comfort, binge watching TV. And, although those things might happen occasionally, if we're in this situation for weeks to come, we may find that those become bigger problems over time. Another thing, when people are grieving, the first thing I do is I say, who are your social supports and how can you utilize those social supports? And I think we need to realize that, right now at a time when we need social support the most because of everything we're experiencing, we have less access to it. We don't have the usual, let's go see a movie with a friend or meet for coffee. We don't get to check in with our colleagues just because we run into them in the lunchroom. We need to make a much bigger effort to connect with people socially. And, I recommend that you find unique ways to do that. Certainly it's nice to text and to check in with the people you care about. How are they doing? But also to see each other's face is helpful too. I know I really look forward to my Zoom meetings with my colleagues to check in the morning, just to see other people's faces, FaceTime, maybe meet a friend for coffee or tea over FaceTime, have dinner as a family with another family over Zoom. Find ways to reach out to the people you care about and check in on people because we all need support right now. Spiritually, another thing that happens when we're grieving or we're experiencing uncertainty is a need to find meaning in all of this. And I've found that a lot of people are using that in a way to provide comfort, talking about the positive environmental impacts or the new opportunities to spend time with their immediate family at home to kind of get out of the grind. And I think that can be helpful. And there's also people who are struggling with where is God in all this, and those are normal feelings too. So I think it's just mostly important to understand and to accept that we're going to have lots of feelings, and some of those are going to be really difficult. This is a situation that we've never been in before. When there's uncertainty, there's anxiety, there's fear. And, we may also have times during the day where we're enjoying ourselves. But one thing that happens with grief and change is a lot of ups and downs, a lot of variability of emotions. So one moment you might feel near tears and the next you're laughing. And I think all of that's normal, and just really embracing whatever you might be feeling. It's really helpful to feel your feelings. So if you notice that you're struggling or you're having a hard time, if you can, just let yourself be with that feeling, lean into it for a moment and let it pass through, knowing you're not going to feel that way forever. The more we suppress our feelings and hold down all those negative feelings creates bigger problems down the road. We need to be able to express them. And sometimes it can be helpful to, call a friend or talk with somebody that you trust. Take a deep breath at those moments. Then there's other times where we might find ourselves caught in that cycle of worrying over and over about the same thing, and we feel like we're in a rut. Certainly those times are going to come too. And when that happens, it might not be the moment to lean into the feelings, but rather to find ways to distract yourself. It's okay to, just get up, take a deep breath, step outside, do something just to kind of mix up the thought process, to change it up so that we don't just get stuck in that worry over and over and over again. Other ways to think about just letting yourself feel is picking a moment where it's private with you. Journaling can be really helpful, just writing down kind of, here's all my thoughts and feelings, knowing that they are going to shift and change over time. Another thing that I've been thinking about is, we talk about this a lot when people are grieving, is that even within families, when people are grieving, you might see totally different reactions. So you might have some family members who are more likely to be sad, others can be angry or irritable, and others pretend like it's not happening at all. And that can be frustrating because when you're not on the same page with the people around you, you might feel more isolated, frustrated, not supported in the way that you want to be supported. But I think it's just important as you accept the emotions in yourself and being really gentle with yourself, as being kind and gentle to the people around you, knowing that we all cope in different ways. And it doesn't mean that we aren't all grieving. It just means that it might look really different. Something that can be really helpful is to check in with the people you're social distancing with. How are they doing today? What are they thinking about? How are they feeling? So staying in contact through communication with each other, making it explicit, like this is what we're going through and this is what it looks like and how it's different between us. So things that have helped me personally in the last week as I've tried to adjust to this new situation, like all of you, is one of them has been to really stick to a routine. I'm working from home, so that's probably in some ways for people working maybe a little bit easier to do, but I try to really stick to the flow of my workday, taking a lunch and, ending on time and spending time with my family and making dinner and kind of eating at the same times of the day. The more that you can have a routine or create a new routine, I understand that we actually have to create new routines in this environment, the better. Even my children have a routine. It's flexible, but they kind of know how the flow of their day is going to go. We spend time talking the night before about what their plans are for tomorrow. What do they want to achieve? For me personally, I find that it's really helpful to have goals, that I feel like I'm setting goals and meeting those goals, still feeling productive in some ways. And, that can be really comforting. Routine in general can be a big comfort, and it can help to create a more comfortable flow to your day. Other things have been making an effort to, again, connect with people, but also to try new things to enjoy our time together. We've tried some new things, and luckily right now there's a lot of resources out there online where you can do things that you've never done before, like watch Facebook Live concerts of your favorite musicians or stream opera from the Met. You can do Broadway HD is offering some free access to musicals. So there's new opportunities that are coming available for us during this time. And it's important to find those moments of joy, whether it be doing a puzzle or reading a book, connecting with the people in your life, or, trying something new can help to break up this long period of time that we're going to be in this situation. I think the number one thing that I want to get across today is that although it's great to think positive, and I think that's going to help us in some ways, I think just mainly that you encouraging people to accept that that it's okay that this is really hard, and it's normal to feel anxious. It's normal to feel worried, and just accepting and being gentle with yourself around that, knowing that we are all experiencing those same emotions, maybe not at the same time, but that it's really important to allow yourself the space to have difficult moments, whether it be internally or with the people around you, and to try to support your friends and family as well in this difficult time. We really need to reach out and come together. And that's partially why we're doing this, is we really want to reach out to you and let you know that, we're thinking about you. And it's been hard at Hospicare not being able to connect with our clients in the way that we want to, not be able to hold the groups and the workshops. And so we just want you to know that, we're here and we are open to providing resources for you. And so again, please comment on our page if you have any ideas about how we can do that. I will be back on tomorrow at 10 a.m. and I will be doing a guided meditation, but there's lots of other offerings that we have planned, and we hope that you'll join us for those as well. So I see that my time is coming to an end, and thank you so much for joining me. And I'm going to sign off for now. And take care, be gentle with yourself, be kind to those around you. Thanks.